Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Osu World Cup round of 16. Today we have Turkey versus Indonesia. Turkey coming off a close loss against the UK, dropping down 5-3. Indonesia having lost against Ukraine in a 5-0 sweep. These are two teams in the losers bracket, potentially a little bit earlier than expected, and if we see similar performances to last week, this is going to be a good one. I am iFlame, joined today by the lovely Sad Shiba. How are things going?
Hello, it's going very good, iFlame. Thank you very much. I love the narratives with these two teams. You've got one team who, on paper, plays quite low in the qualifiers in Turkey, but put up a good fight against a team like the UK. Again, good momentum despite falling in the loser bracket. And then you have the opposite spectrum of Indonesia, who on paper are a phenomenal team with really, really good players, but had a tragic form in their last match. Severely underperforming against Ukraine, I'm sure, compared to other teams, along with Ukraine just playing very well overall. It's a very kind of a duality kind of options with these teams, right? Different mindsets, different forms, and the big question really for me is that how will Indonesia play in this match? Will we see a similar form to the last game, in which case I'm expecting it to be a lot closer or maybe even one-sided here for Turkey. But if we know these players and if they have that form back compared to last week that they did in the qualifiers, then I'm looking forward to seeing what Indonesia can do, because I'm expecting some good stuff from this team. It really depends on how the momentum affects either team and how this is going to go through, because this could be an interesting matchup if the forms are what we don't expect.
Yeah, we've got some bans now. Unfinished DT2 banned out by Indonesia. Turkey are going to ban out that hidden. Pretty much expected bans from both teams. So good stuff so far. And we are just waiting on that first pick now. And again, like you said, Indonesia should be the better team on paper. But if you actually look at the matches that both teams played last week, it's 2-2 in the head-to-head. So Indonesia has quite a few options for picks here. I think we're going to see them look towards something like the Hiddens, possibly one of those free mods even. They have some options to start.
Yeah, I think Indonesia on paper are much more of a well-rounded team. I mean, Turkey, despite having their really strong strengths, are outmatched by many, many skill sets from Indo. I think particularly we're going to be looking at the aim and the hard rock to be particular ones that we're looking into for Indonesia, even the tapping mechanics as well. I'm very much looking for Indonesia to focus on those. Turkey, though, they've got a phenomenal hard rock roster in particular. I'm looking to see Turkey make use of the hard rock 1 and 2, one or two of the free mods. Probably free mod 2 is my most expected map for them to lean into. This team have phenomenal hard rock players, especially players like Raikaho, Gilrain, Clutch X. They've got several good players for this. And tech as well for Indonesia is a great skill set, and gimmick as well. You've got multiple strengths for Indo to take advantage of. So Turkey on paper definitely are on the back foot. But looking at the first pick here, it will be the Nomad 4 from Indonesia, the reading overlap heavy gimmick map.
Yeah, with the HD banned out, they're going to opt for the Nomad reading in this pool. Very good pick for Indo. And while you wait for these players to get into the lobby, let's talk about these teams a little bit. On the side of Turkey, it has been Raikuhu, the absolute star for them so far. 14th individual performance last week in the round of 32. Looked so good for them. And of course, on Indo, you have some big names. Lifeline, who is just one of the best players. You've got Hakui Nazuna, just some really solid a supporting squad around Lifeline there. RHO as well has looked incredible so far.
Yeah, Ro is that big all-rounder for Indonesia. On top of that, you do have Lifeline, who despite struggling last week has always been a constant team member for this Indonesian roster. And for Turkey, as you already mentioned, you got Raikaho. Not only has this guy always been a staple tournament player for Turkey, but recently, especially, has had phenomenal momentum in his own solo spree, setting some legendary scores, might I add. I mean, the guy is in a huge mental high at the moment. And despite that loss against UK, it's clear that he himself has made Turkey a frightening team in this early stage. On top of that, he's got some great teammates with him as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he's going to kind of adapt with this team and how he's going to fill, because I'm guessing he's probably going to play absolutely everything, probably outside of the reading. That's probably the only map sets that we're going to see Raikkonen probably sit out on. But outside of that, he's going to be a mainstay and one of the big names to look out for this Turkish team.
Certainly. What a start to this match, though. Nomad 4, one of the toughest maps in the pool. We've seen even some of the top teams struggle with this one. There are a lot of overlaps in this map, some really brutal patterns towards the ending, especially that are going to claim some combos late. And it's really, really tough to build up any kind of big combo whatsoever. So we should be getting loaded into the lobby shortly, as we do see the good luck have funs in the chat.
Yeah, Sunkiss drop. We've gotten a TLDR about this map, that it's a super overlap heavy reading map. You've got it AR8, you've got its density, and you know its strengths, 185 BPM. It is a hard reading map, but not only is it difficult, the reason why it's so difficult is because of how short it is. Most of these short maps, you have to stay consistently difficult compared to the longer maps where there's a lot more wiggle room, a lot more time to build yourself a little bit of combo during the verse sections. This map does not let up for the entirety of the map. It maintains difficult the entire way. So you have to be comfortable the whole time. There's no wiggle room for you. There's no chill. There's no moments in that map where any average player who doesn't know how to read AR8 will be fine on. The map does not let off, and that's why I'm expecting to potentially see a lot of catastrophic misses from those players who are not comfortable, and that's where the reading players are going to especially be way more valuable. Some hidden twos and some reading maps do give the non-reading players a little bit of leeway and a little bit of time to push a little bit with their combo, give their teams and their fellow hidden players a little bit of an edge. But this number four is an exception for that. It does not let you go.
Yeah, we hopefully will have the stream for you guys shortly. They are currently in the map, but streamer is having some connection issues, so hopefully we can get that sorted out for you guys and actually show some of this match between Turkey and Indonesia.
Just trying to see what's going on here. It appears that the map has actually already been finished. Unfortunately, we've
Indonesia
gotten an error.
Won that by 1.2 million points. Lifeline, that looks to be a full combo. So kind of expected stuff from Indonesia early on there. Hopefully we can actually show the next map.
Yeah, here's hoping, right? If I'm to look back at the scores here, considering how quick this map is, I'm not surprised that small error made us miss the entirety of the map, unfortunately. But for Indonesia, it was a very dominant victory. You have Lifeline with the only FC in the map, not only with an FC, but 99.42 accuracy. Incredible score from him, getting far and away the best score in the lobby, 460,000 more score than the next highest score from Dito at 513k. Outside of that, you had not really many strong scores here for Turkey. Of course, this being reading Raikkonen sitting out here, and the only player that really stood out was Shinkiro with 428,000, and the rest of Turkey struggling to get past the 250,000 score mark. For the rest of Indonesia, Haku Kiori just barely missing on 500k, and Ro getting 300k. Pretty solid overall score for Indo, and I'm not surprised that they took this map.
Yep. If you guys want to see these scores yourself, use !MP in the chat, and you can check on the match link yourself. We do also, of course, have Russia-Hong Kong going on at the same time. That stream is up. Now we've got a Nomad 1 pick for Turkey. Solid pick for them. They have been really good at a lot of these aim picks so far. That has been one of their strengths in the last round, not so much in qualifiers, but they do feel comfortable with this one. It's just your standard consistency aim. Does have some weird sliders though.
Yeah, I think what makes this map quite scary, despite this being Turkey's pick, is that Indonesia have some very threatening aim players. Turkey are more focusing on just going for what they are strong with, because they are 100% on paper on the back foot here. Considering if we are to assume Indonesia's form is to the standards that was set during the qualifiers, this is a scary pick, but there really isn't much you can do when you're Turkey, because you are very limited to any strengths that you can shine over Indonesia. So this Nomad 1 mold is one of quite a few maps for Turkey that can be secured. They are really just going for what they are strong with. So they're gonna have to hope that they can outshine players like Ro, Skydiver, and Lifeline. Ryudo coming in as the fourth for Indonesia. For Turkey, you finally got Raikaho coming in, Clutch X from Katsu, and Laya.
And we are back, Shiba. The players are in the lobby. We are going to get to see some gameplay today between these two teams. Hopefully a little bit of a closer map than the last one, but yeah, Nizuma coming in for Indonesia, no surprise, has been playing most of the Nomads for Indo, and of course Lifeline, really well known for some of these aim-focused maps. And so this one, while it's one of Turkey's better options for picks, this one could go either way very easily. Good luck, have fun's in the chat. We should be loading into the map any moment now.
Here's hoping, right?
We can only hope. Bancho, we beg of you.
Bancho, we love you. Please let us see the beautiful game being played here.
Show your support for Bancho in the chat so that Bancho is nice to us. There we go. One more. Skydiver.
Hold on. It's just giving it a refresher.
There we
just
go.
to sync up all the players. There we are. Lovely. Alrighty. The mold, Nomad 1, the Spider-Man difficulty from Necrogoblin, an Ice Cult map, and one that is quite varied in its strengths. Most Nomad 1s are widely considered as pure aim consistency, but this one's a good hybrid here of weird sliders, aim, conventional aim, and awkward aim, with lots of flow aim in it as well. There are going to be multiple big streams in here, along with multiple death streams towards the ending of this map, which is where I'm expecting to potentially see a break, whether it be in stamina or just lack of flow aim ability. It really does come down to that. This map consistently stays difficult for 3.5 minutes with a good set of 3 to 4 strengths that you need to perform well on this map. Looking at these early stages so far, it's going to be Nazna, Azamir, and Lifeline to drop first for Indonesia, but outside of that, Turkey remain good outside of the early break from Laya.
Yeah, Skydiver has found an early miss as well, and this is a fairly spiky map in terms of difficulty. The difficult sections of this map are much harder than the easier parts, I mean, of course, but it just means that you can afford to drop combos in the slow section like we've seen from 3 of the Indonesian players already. Just Ro holding on, whereas Turkey still have those big combos up, but here we go after this break into a bit of a streamer section of the map coming up shortly, and this is where we might start to see some big combos drop, and this is where the combo drops really start to matter.
Yeah, we're slowly approaching that halfway mark, and that's where you really do not want to drop. It's going to be Ryudo to drop once again for Indonesia. Not the combo that you're really hoping to see go from Turkey. You're really looking at Ro or Skydiver to be the next ones to drop. Clutch X, finally, one of the 4 combos from Turkey gone. Mikatsu and Raikaho still holding on. Skydiver is going to drop for Indo. It's still all up to Ro to try and keep this alive for Indonesia, but Laya and Mikatsu are keeping this lead ahead, especially with Raikaho as well. Clutch X is going to drop, but that's not the combo you want for Indonesia. Mikatsu's finally going to go down. And it's all up to Raikaho and Laya to keep this up. Indonesia still are a looming threat here despite that drop from Skydiver. Ro and Lifeline still looking really good and still maintaining the threat here for Turkey.
Indonesia has an angle back into this one as long as they hold on to their high combos, but they just don't have any support right now. Skydiver continues to find misses, and you can't afford to find those misses when the map is this close. You're down by 200,000. There's really one more tricky section to the end of this map. This is where we start to see some of these death streams, and if Raikaho or Lai find misses, it could go back over in an instant, but Raikaho especially has been so consistent on these picks. Here we go into the death stream section. Can they hold? Turkey want to get their point back.
Turkey have got to trade it with this bit here. You still have Ro and Lifeline with those recoveries there. Decent recovery also from Ryudo, Nazanamamiya. Clutch X and Mikatsu seem to have stabled up as well, keeping that 400 going up to 500. The combo advantage remains in favor of Turkey the longer this gains up. And this Deathstream section could lead to some drops. You can see the flame and the stamina required, and this is a consistent 184 BPM. Malaya is going to be the one to drop. That's a ginormous combo gone for Turkey. Raikaho is the last man standing for this giant combo to keep Ro intact, but Ro's going to drop. Lifeline's the last man standing for Indo. So many combos are going down, the big ones especially. Nazami is going to go down. That has to be the threat now gone from Indo. Raikaho has kept this team alive despite the valiant effort from Lifeline, and they're going to even out the score 1-1.
1-1, great pick from Turkey to start it out, and this is exactly what we've seen. Despite the seeding, these two teams have been very competitive in score, and Turkey can definitely take some few points here, especially if Raikaho continues to be this consistent. Indonesia, though, with the next pick, has quite a few good options here. Could see them going for something like the precision that they've looked in, or not the precision, I'm still waiting for something like one of those hiddens. Hidden 1, still open. They have picked that other reading map, so there's not a ton of reading left in the pool.
Yeah, Indonesia, they've lost kind of their major reading maps here. There is not any low AR in the free mod slots as well. You have Ebtide, that's probably the closest map to a reading map. The other two are quite dense with the hidden on, but not really reading heavy. You could still apply the hidden comfort for this, but Turkey can easily bounce back with an abuse of Hard Rock here. I'm 100% expecting a Hard Rock Overmon here for Turkey if they are to lead into that. So, yeah, I mean, you've only got really the free mod 1 that Indo could lean into for any kind of reading difficulty, or you can just go into the hidden 1, an equally dense but very difficult hidden map. This is, I think a lot of people like to call this map a tiebreaker with 2 minutes, a 2-minute long tiebreaker map, because this is pretty unique. iFlame, what are your thoughts on this map?
Yeah, it's not so much your standard fast A map where it's just jumps. There are some flow aim sections that can catch people out, even some cut streams towards the end of this map that are going to catch some people out as well. The jumps are very dense, the cut streams are really tricky with hidden. This is by no means an easy map. We've got the Indonesian, we've got most of the Indonesian roster in already. Ork should switch over to Turkey's side. I expect we're likely going to see possibly Dido in for Indonesia if they are here today. Has been playing the hiddens along with Hakui for Indonesia.
Yeah, maybe Razemi Lovelock coming in as well. Had been a staple hidden player for this Indonesian team. Could see him come in for that one as well. But it is going to be Dido coming in, or maybe we're going to see another swap here for Indonesia. But for Turkey, they seem quite happy with what they're going for here. They seem pretty secure. Laya, Ork, Shinkiro, and Raikaho. Ork is no surprise. He has been one of the super strong hidden players for this Turkish team. So I'm not surprised to see him in it at all. And Dido coming in for Indo, as you called it, iFlame. The roster seems to be set.
Yes, it does. And this is kind of another fairly Indonesia favored pick. But that's just how the reading and hidden maps are always going to go. So I expect this one is going to be quite Indonesian favored. Not that Turkey doesn't have chances, but after this pick, Indonesia is going to have a lot of a harder time finding strong picks. Good luck, have funs in the chat. Here we go between heaven and earth. Can Raikaho do it again?
He's done it before in the No Mod 1. Granted, this map is a little bit more different. It does have its standard aim consistency requirements, but it has a lot more to it. And on top of that, it's quite a dense hidden map. So you got to be extra comfortable with your hiddens here. And I know Raikaho has always been a star all-rounder player, but I think hidden is one of those strengths that you don't see in Raikaho. You more see him for his aim, his consistency, and his hard rock ability. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Raikaho can do, especially. I mean, he's always been a great well-rounded player for Turkey, but hidden has been one of those maps where I wouldn't consider this to be a major strength for Raikaho. So there's a chance that we could see a drop here. These 1/3 stream sections already tripping up multiple players from Turkey here. Laya, Shinkiro, and Raikaho all going to drop. I believe it is just Ork unless he was to drop as well. Was that drop from Raikaho Bancho? No, it wasn't. He actually dropped. That's already an early full reset here for Turkey, with Haki Kuroi and Ro joining them in the first intro section drops. In this entire lobby, it is just Dido and Lifeline to have held on to that intro section, despite Lifeline dropping a ton of accuracy.
Yeah, we're saying that intersection is by far the hardest part of the map, and so drops are not surprising, but it is another triple reset for Turkey. Lai, the only one holding, and Lai is gone too now, so it's a full reset from Turkey, and this is after the intro, actually into the aim section of the map, and Indonesia is off to a very good early lead. We do see some misses traded back from Lifeline and Ro, but Hakui and Dito both on some big combos, and they're going to hold on to this advantage for now. This is a pretty short map. We're already the quarter of the way through, and there's 2 more misses from Turkey. They're not finding any recovery. Raikuhu misses on this low part, and things are falling apart very quickly here for Turkey.
Yeah, Dito is absolutely one of the outlying stars for this, and Akuri Kyori. Despite dropping earlier, he has got some phenomenal accuracy of 99.14, keeping himself comfortable, keeping himself clean, and Dito as well, just looking brilliant. I'm not surprised to see these 2 players in particular perform really well on this. But yeah, unfortunately for Turkey, it's just not their map, not a skill set that they are particularly known for being strong on. You do still have Shinkiro with a very good recovery here, 400. Raikuho is slowly trying to climb back up, approaching that 300 mark. But this part's getting really difficult with some really awkward sections, and that's going to lead to a triple reset there from Turkey. A full reset, never mind. The 3 combos from Indonesia are going to go down. It is just Lifeline to hold on to combo, but honestly, it's way too far ahead for Indonesia for Turkey to do anything here. Approaching this final quarter, Indonesia for sure are going to take it. It's approaching a 550,000, nearly 6,000. As we're going into this final difficulty ramp-up section, no matter really what happens here, it will be Indonesia to take it, especially with those drops coming in from Laya, Orke, Shinkiro, and Raiko. Everyone from Turkey is going off and not able to get a combo on the board. Indonesia will be taking this hidden 1 and taking the major score lead.
Yeah, pretty solid score from Indonesia. This is probably one of the harder maps in this pool, as you see from all these misses into the end of the map. But Turkey weren't really expecting to win this one. They're not going to feel too bad about it, and they're going to be looking to get a point back with their next pick. They still have some options as well. And I wonder if we're going to see them pick around Raikou, who had the number 2 score on DT1 last week, had the best score on DT3 last week. And so maybe we're just going to see them go into some of those tapping DTs, play towards Raiku's strengths. As long as they have the support there, Raikou may be able to carry, but Indonesia has a scary tapping roster as well. So it is a risky pick, but might be Turkey's best bet at this point.
Yeah, you do still have the Hard Rocks open and the tapping maps, but I think the tapping maps are a bit dangerous here for Turkey. You may want to save that kind of late stage, but yeah, I'm kind of, yeah.
I would really like World's End Valentine here for them as well, that Precision Hard Rock. They had, I believe, the, I want to say the number 2, very highly ranked score. I don't know if it was number 2 or number 3 on that Precision pick last week, but there it is. World's End Valentine is going to be our pick, and they are going right into this Hard Rock Precision. This has been something Indonesia has struggled with quite a bit so far.
World's End Valentine, one of the very popular maps in this pool, quite beloved for its mapping style and culture behind the song in the background, but it's a tough one. Primarily Flowim heavy, but it is quite well versed. It's also got a good hit of finger control and doubles on top of that, but Flowim is going to be the main thing for this pool, for this map. 2 minutes and 40 seconds long, 162 BPM. It's a little bit of a lower BPM for the higher players. I wouldn't consider this like too finger control heavy. I'm not saying this is like a 120 or 140 BPM major control map, but that BPM is decently on the lower side. So again, if some of these players are much more used to tapping fast, you're going to have to adjust to that. And with the high OD and the high S and the high CS, it's going to be a bit of a tough one, especially in the active department. But Turkey are very capable. They are one of the better precision teams in this tournament. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to be doing. And hopefully they'll be able to bounce it back and make it 2-2.
Yeah, big challenge is some of those cut streams in the middle, and that's the worst place to drop your combo. We'll see how many players get caught out. I'm a little bit surprised to see Orke in on the Hard Rock. Has been more of a hidden player for them. We're not going to be seeing Gilrayanin or Mikatsu, who have been the go-to Hard Rock players so far.
Yeah, no Girai, no Mikatsu. They did previously play for Turkey in these kind of maps, but again, it's a different stage, it's a different kind of precision. Maybe they're a bit comfortable with different kinds of jumps, maybe different kinds of aim. This one being much more on the Floem cut side, so you're probably going to be putting in a few different players here. I'm a little bit surprised to see Ork coming in here, because he has been primarily the hidden and reading player, but he is going to be coming in for Turkey in this Hard Rock too. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's definitely going to be capable of. But the other players here, Raikkoho and Shinkiro, not surprised with at all, and Laya as well, always being that good kind of the good filler player who's very flexible for this team, being able to play several skill sets at a good level to keep his team in the grounds of victories. So yeah, this team for Turkey is pretty good. On the side of Indonesia, you've obviously got some threats, especially in Skydiver and Lifeline. Ro as well. Haku Kiori always been that great fourth player who's been playing so many maps, similar to Laya. So this one is an exciting one here. Of course, you can see on paper this being a Turkey map, but Indo always going to be a threat.
And this map isn't too, I mean, it's still tough, but not too difficult until about a quarter of the way into the map when things really start to pick up. So we shouldn't see too many early misses, but we have seen a couple from Hakui and Ork. You want to see these players recover, but Ork really struggling with the accuracy, finding yet another chain miss down at 88. But Hakui is not far ahead at 92, so it's going to keep things pretty even. Shinkiro finds a miss now, and it's 2 FCs gone. Lyar and Skydiver trading. Lifeline and Ro in a good spot, but Skydriver drops so much accuracy. That's going to keep things close for Turkey. There's only Raikuhu trying to do the impossible here up against 2 big FCs in Ro and Lifeline. This is a short map, though. We're halfway through already, and Indo has a 200,000 point lead.
It's really Raiko against the world. The break is shown, the information has been shared. We've exactly hit the halfway mark. Lifeline and Ro just maintain as that unstoppable force here for Indonesia. That full collapse from Turkey is really not going to help, especially from the recoveries from Haku Kiori and Skydiver, outshining multiple combos here from the recovering players. Raiko's got so much work to do. Big space room's been here. Ork is going to drop. Not the combo you want down if you are Turkey here. You still have Raikoho, but this is starting to get really dire here. You're going to have to really hope from a double miss from the 2 FCs for Indonesia if you want to see Turkey come back from this. Raiko's putting up such a great effort with phenomenal accuracy, far and away the best scorer in the lobby, but it's not going to be enough for Turkey. Shinkiro's going to go down, and despite Ro and Skydiver and Lifeline dropping, there's not nearly enough time. No time left for Turkey to try and build this back due to Raiko's combo. It's not going to be enough. Indonesia take it.
Too little too late. Raikuhu just putting up nearly half of Turkey's score on that map and just did not have the support. Ork had a really rough time on that one. 250k, 91 accuracy, and has to make you wonder if Mikatsu and Garen are possibly just not available for this match. Those really are the 2 you'd expect to be in for these Hard Rock picks. And it felt like Turkey had a bit of a 4th player syndrome on that one.
God, what a score from Raikoho. I'm gutted to see that score not lead to a victory there. Really strong. You did have Robe with the funny combo and the funny score, just completely being able to shield Indonesia from that threat. That's Raikoho. Just the rest of Turkey just couldn't get the combo needed there. It really was just Raiko against the world. It's like, yeah, I was about to say something, but I won't say it. It's just, it's just a tough spot for Turkey at the moment. I mean, your star players do everything you can, but there's really nothing else you can do, especially when Indonesia are matching twice as much as your star player. It's just a tough spot there, and Indonesia are able to get the next pick, and it's up to them to go for that next point to secure themselves TB and match point.
Yep, and this is kind of the big question for Indonesia. They found the breakpoint on the Hard Rock, but they have gone with their very obvious picks. They've gone for that Radiant Nomad, they've gone for the hidden that's left over, so there's no super clear options left over. They still have, they do have good options in the free mod, I think. The free mod 1, even potentially something like the free mod 2 would be great for them. It's the kind of thing that Lifeline could really go off on.
Yeah, it seems like Indonesia are taking a little bit of extra time to take their pick. It's going to be no more 3. Now, this team has been really strong on the ult. Multiple really good players that have set some great scores for this team. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to be capable of, especially Lifeline and Row, who have set really good scores in their previous matches on the ult. So I'm excited for what this team can do. This is definitely one of those maps I'm really leaning for Indonesia here. You still do have a couple decent players from Turkey to potentially do something here. I'm expecting Eevee to maybe get in here, Levi to get in here, but it doesn't seem that it's going to be the case. And it's going to be that noob guy coming in for the first time in this match instead.
Yeah, Indonesia really does have quite a few options for some of these alt maps. They've had so many players on this team are quite good at the alt skill set, so it does just come down to who's feeling comfortable on the given week. And this time around, it's that noob guy taking out the last spot. For Turkey, I have to imagine that we could see Clutch in as the last player for Turkey, although Orke also quite solid on the alts.
Honestly, I kind of trolled myself. I don't know why I thought that noob guy was on Turkey's side. I was like, oh yeah, you can see Levi come in here, but it's going to be that noob guy. And I was like, wait a minute, he's from Indonesia. Why is he here? That's on me. You still do have a potential full player for Turkey. You could maybe see Levi coming in or Mikatsu, and it will be Mikatsu coming in for Turkey. On the side of Indonesia, Akihiro, Ditto, that noob guy, and Lifeline. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Lifeline can do because he's far and away set the best ult scores for this team.
Yep.
And this one especially being a tough one.
Yeah, over on our other match, Russia Hong Kong, it is looking to be 4-1 right now, so potentially a similar scoreline to this match if Indonesia can take this one. And of course, up next, right after this match on the Osu Live 2 channel, we have got Chile versus Sweden coming up, so stay tuned for that one. Here we go, though, into the No Mod 3 cycle. This is yet another fairly short map. There are a number of long maps in this pool, and these teams have been avoiding them like the plague.
Yeah. Map by Moth, very well known for making a very fun, unique alt style, but also being very difficult in its cuts and its strange aim transitions here. We've already seen it trip up a couple players in Lifeline and that noob guy, giving Turkey a tiny advantage in the combo department, but it seems to be like the accuracy is maybe giving that lead to Indonesia at the start, but it's going to quickly flip now. Now that combo is back on, Lai is going to drop, but still really early days here. CS 3.8 and 9.5, 2 minutes and 40 seconds long, decently on the shorter side, kind of midway really. But it's a general hybrid ult with a little hit of finger control put in there as well. The diff spikes are going to be found in the Kiais, where we are going to see the most difficult sections come down and where we're going to see the most breaks. Raikaho is going to go down there for Turkey. Mikatsu as well. It's just Shinkuro left, and that's a full reset for Turkey now. Whereas on the side of Indonesia, I mean, what more can you say? The only drop being Lifeline outside of that, Akihiro, Ditto, and that noob guy just looking really solid. Akihiro may drop just towards the end, but those 2 full combos are going to build up until the next Kiai. Indonesia are going to be able to soar ahead with this lead.
Yeah, we do have some tricky wiggle patterns coming up that could claim some combos on the side of Indo, but if you are very precise, you can actually cheese those patterns and not move your mouse at all. So we'll see if we find any drops. It is going to be Shinkiro who finds the miss, and everybody... Okay, Noob Guy does find a miss. That's a big combo down, but unfortunately, Ditto still holding the FC and not really anyone to match on Turkey. Raikuhu is recovering, but again, not enough. Mikatsu, Shinkiro continue to drop, and 300,000 the lead for Indonesia now. We're over halfway through the map. Raikuhu finds the miss, and that might just be it unless we see a complete meltdown from Indonesia.
Ditto just looked completely unfazed by this. As soon as I say that, he drops on nothing. How do you hit the entirety of the map and miss on that? I don't think I'll ever know. But Indonesia just looking so dominant here. Despite that double miss from both Lifeline and Ditto, they're going to be hitting the main wiggle section that aren't going to be able to build up their combo into this final Kiai, whereas Turkey, outside of Laya, really cannot do anything, and Laya is going to be the last one to drop. This final Kiai is really tough, leading to so many drops, but just the overall consistency and the early stage combo for Indonesia are going to secure themselves that victory. I really don't think I would have expected anything more from Indonesia here. These guys are so good on the ult, and they are going to dominate on this map.
Yep, it's going to be match point for Indonesia, but Turkey does have the pick, have the chance to keep themselves in this match. Nobody except for Liar misses on that last wiggle. And what does Turkey look towards into the end? They need to find the pick, but it's not easy. There's not a lot of good options left. They do have potentially that other Hard Rock, potentially one of the DTs. We might see them opt into tapping.
Yeah, we could. We could also maybe see one of the free mods, probably free mod 2, as kind of a hope for Turkey here. If you're really begging on that Raikaho Hard Rock method, free mod 2 is probably the best option. But as an overall team, you have a few options, but all of the options aren't really guaranteed at all. You do still have the decent maps for Turkey, but Indonesia are so capable of just completely bouncing back with a great score of their own. This team is really, really flexible and really well-rounded, so I'm not surprised to see Turkey struggling here for options. But yeah, I think we know what maps they could lead into. I'm 100% expecting either Free Mod 2 or the Hard Rock one. That's my call. What do you think, iFlame?
I personally like the Hard Rock one. I think the free mods are really scary. Like you mentioned, there is the Raikuhu Hard Rock method. Has been incredible on the Hard Rock, but that's scary stuff. Putting your best player that you have been relying on to carry these maps on the Hard Rock, which is going to be the harder mod on a lot of these maps. Now, the free mod 2 is fairly balanced between the hidden and the Hard Rock, but it's tough because there's not really anyone else on Turkey that can comfortably fill that hidden spot, and so they are going to go into the tapping DT3. And this DT3 is going to be 264 BPM burst. They are going for the speed. And this actually makes a lot of sense to me. They have looked really good on the DTs. Raikuhu especially, like I mentioned, had the top score on DT3 last week.
Yeah, there is potential here. There is a good chance here for Turkey to take it. This double time 3, the stats that you see down there are not the stats applied with double time on top. It is 7.1 stars, 264 BPM, as iFlame already mentioned, 2 minutes and 41 seconds, 4.2 CS, and AR 10.1. So there's no crazy fast aim requirement here. But I don't really know how to explain the patterns, but it's not really, how do I say it? It's not really spaced. You know what I mean, iFlame? Like, the patterns aren't really spaced. You're really just kind of keep carrying on in a line, I guess you could say, that just moves around. But it's not really a spaced double time. You're really just constantly hitting these bursts and just carrying on around the map. I don't really know how to describe it. I think you know what I mean, iFlame.
I think what you're trying to get at is that these bursts are not super complex. You don't have to have good aim to really nail these bursts. As long as you're fast enough, as long as you have the speed to match the 264 BPM, you shouldn't have too much trouble. Where the difficulty really comes in this map is the finger control that's thrown in throughout this map. Along with the length of the map, just over 3 minutes is quite long for a DT pick, and so stamina is really going to come into play, especially towards the end of the map as the players start getting tired. Clutch X in for Turkey. We are waiting on one more. I would think it probably is going to be Mikatsu, but we'll find out shortly.
On the side of Indonesia, it's a pretty safe and predictable roster here. Lifeline, Kokiri, Ro, and Dito. So this is Turkey's do or die here. Indonesia are at match point. They're one map away from advancing to the next stage. It seems like their form has improved quite a bit since last week. So it seems like they are recovering and looking very good going into this next stage. So yeah, this DT3 is do or die here for Turkey. Raikaho and Gilrain making an appearance there, which is always cool. We didn't see even the stats previously for these Heavy Mechanics maps, but it does seem like he's going to be coming in here for this map. Mikatsu, as you called before, iFlame, going to be popping in here for Turkey.
Yep,
it's time for the DT3.
Yep, this is going to be a very consistent map as well. There's not really any massive difficulty spikes that are going to claim lots of combos, so really every miss counts on this one. You don't want to miss early on even, and accuracy is going to be a big question mark here. We see Mikatsu already falling a little bit behind in accuracy, but accuracy is generally going to be low across the lobby. We see many players down at 94. Pretty much everyone except for Ro and Raikuhu. Clutch is going to find the first miss, and with the accuracy drops, Gilrain missing as well, Indonesia are going to be off to a really big early lead here, and the DT3 pick not working out so far, but they do have lots of time to recover. Now it's Mikatsu, it's just Raikuhu holding on, and it is, once again, Raikuhu against the world. We need to see some recovery combos for Turkey, but Clutch finds yet another miss, and this one's looking dire already.
What can you do here if you're Turkey? You're just dealing with an unstoppable force here. Still a full AFC from Indonesia. What can you do here? Raiko is once again doing everything he possibly can. But there's just not much you can do. And with that drop from Raiko, it just has to be sealed. There's really no way Turkey can come back from this here. Approaching the 900 to 1,000 combo mark are all 4 players of Indonesia, especially Ro and Hikukiori holding on to really good accuracy. There's just, I mean, what do you do? What do you do?
There's nothing you can do. They're just looking for a casual 4-way to close out this match, and this lead is insurmountable. That is going to be the game. Hakui does find the miss, but it doesn't matter. Indonesia will be moving on to the next round. Fortunately for Turkey, they have been eliminated from OSU World Cup this year. Well played to them. They had a good showing in the previous match against the UK, making it 5-3, but not enough, and this will be the end for them.
This break is tough. No, the GG. This is, dude, I feel bad for Turkey. This is such a slow burn, a slow cutaway into deciding their fate in this World Cup. Hope is just gone for this team. It's honestly tragic to see. Despite those 2 drops from Indonesia, we're not going to see the 4-way, but Ro and Lifeline still have their full combos. Are they going to be able to finish the style with a 2-way full combo on this double time 3? I mean, yeah, it is over for Turkey. The lead is so astronomically too far away from Turkey. It's light years away. There's no hope, unfortunately, there. Ro and Lifeline complete the double full combo, and Indonesia will advance into the next stage. That will be all for Turkey at the OS World Cup.
Yep, Indonesia will be moving on, where they play the loser of United States-Italy. That match is yet to be played, but we have no time to waste. Congratulations once again to Indonesia. We are going to go right into Sweden-Taiwan, who have already started their match, just getting into it, so we'll get that switched over to that right now. And huge thank you to Sachiba for commentating this one with me for the Sweden-Taiwan match. We're going to be joined by the one and only Dio. How are things going? How are you feeling about this match?
Good morning, iFlame. I woke up less than 30 minutes ago. These are the first words I've spoken all day, but I am here and ready for Taiwan versus Sweden. We are already into the first pick, I might add. We have already seen the rolls and bans come through. It was the Hidden 2 ban for Taiwan and the DT2 ban for Sweden in this matchup. This is kind of an interesting matchup between these 2 teams, but definitely one that seems a little bit Sweden favored on paper.
Certainly does. Taiwan has had a little bit of a rough start, but okay, here we are into the map. It looks like we've got the Hard Rock pick, and we do see a miss from Tomo Chen into the break, and it's going to be a point for Taiwan. They're going to be up 1-0 at the start here. We just caught the end of that, and I assume that was Taiwan's pick.
That was indeed Taiwan's first pick. You would think it's a Hard Rock pick with 5 Hard Rocks in the lobby, but it's actually free mod. 1 no mod and 2 hidden for the entire lobby.
Myself. You think I was the one who woke up 30 minutes ago?
Oh, man. Yeah, no, this is, I think, kind of the expected outcome for a match like this, is you're looking at Taiwan to pick as many speed maps as possible, and Sweden to ban out a speed map and try to take breakpoints on any other existing speed maps in this pool. Looking at the qualifier scores, looking at the round 32 scores for both of these teams, Taiwan has advantages potentially on speed, and Sweden looks to have advantages basically everywhere else in the map pool. So definitely looking to Sweden to kind of abuse any skill sets that Taiwan look particularly weak on in the qualifiers. Things like tech, where they have a pretty decisive advantage over the other team.
Yeah, the tech especially. Sweden had the #1 score last week on the Nomad 4. And the Nomad 4 is going to be good for them again this week. They're going to be also looking towards something like the DT1, possibly the Nomad 1 that I didn't do great on the Nomad 1 last week, but I think they're going to recover. They generally have a very scary aim team, especially with a player like Reedcat. But they're going to be taking their time for their first pick.
Yeah, And I think it's completely fine for them to take their time here. A lot of this first pick and a lot of the pick strategy for Sweden in this match, I think, should be about overall comfort. When you do have an on-paper advantage across a lot of the pool, just figure out what your team is most comfortable with and go with that. It is going to be the Nomad 4, and I think I like that pick a lot, given the ban from Taiwan on that Hidden 2.
Yeah, this one's interesting. Taiwan banned out the Hidden 2 as well last week. Sweden, notably, really struggled on the Hidden Reading as well, but this is not Hidden Reading. This is with the Nomad, and that makes it easier for quite a few players. Now, that being said, this is one of the hardest maps in the pool. There's nothing about this map that's easy.
Yeah, about the only thing in this map that is relatively easy is the fact that it's 1 minute and 39 seconds, so you can practice it a bunch, but aside from that, there's not a lot that's simple about this. A lot of perfect stack overlapping patterns in this map, patterns that double back on themselves, and on Nomad with AR8, those are very, very difficult to read. I won't call it a memorization map because there is structure to it. There is a pattern to how things go in this map, but it is something that you have to learn through either repeated plays or looking in the editor. So being able to learn how those patterns work is really, really important to success on this map. We'll see how well Team Sweden has been able to learn this map. They do have a lot of good Loyar players on the team, but I fear for them a little bit with Reedcat still in the lobby.
Yeah, that's a bit of a concern. Not really known for his reading ability, but we'll see how it goes. Still waiting on the last player for Taiwan. We could see possibly Spine's Knight, but okay, there's Spine's Knight in the lobby now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Reedcat is actually the fourth player for Sweden on these low AR picks. He played the low AR hidden in qualifiers twice and played the low AR hidden for them in round of 32 as well. Obviously didn't do particularly well on that map, but that is going to be the roster for Sweden. Spine's Knight, kind of the fill player for the side of Taiwan alongside Deaustrophism. Both of them decidedly less comfortable on maps like this compared to Fast and Slow. I think going to be a little bit more comfortable on some of the maps like this.
For those of you who are unaware, Fast and Slow is, of course, going to be Flask and Shill. This is their 7th OC World Cup together. Now, if Taiwan does lose this match, this would be their worst placement in OWC history. Their previous worst being last year, where they did at least make it to the second round. We do see some early misses out of Shield, as well as Willie and Scylla. So, lots of early misses. We're going to see a lot more misses throughout this map, and there's going to be lots of back and forths.
Yeah, there's a drop for Flask on the back and forth triples there. Willie and Slow also dropping. Spine's Knight dropping as well. It's the 4-way reset, iFlame. Taiwan with 0 combo remaining, only a third of the way into the map, and it's still the double S for Tony Reno right now. It's still the full combo for Phelan right now. It's still only 50 combo back from an FC for Scylla right now. This is looking extremely good for Sweden. Up over 400k when the opposing team's score is not quite a million team score, finally hitting 1 mil for the Taiwanese roster there, but they are looking to plus 50% the team score for Taiwan right now. And honestly, if these kinds of combos continue, they might be able to double it. Like, this is absurd. Finally, a drop from Phelan comes through. So I don't think we'll be seeing double team score today, but my god, this is one hell of a dominant pick for Sweden.
Yeah, Tony and Scylla are just not missing. I was amazed that nobody on Sweden found a miss on that really brutal circle pattern, and into the ending, Phelan finds another miss, but it's looking like we might just see the double FC out of Scylla and Tony, and dominant performance from Sweden, 1.3 million. They're going to feel great about that one. Now the pressure is on Taiwan to get a pick back.
Look at the ACK on Tony Reno, too. 1-100 on the full combo. 1x100, 1x50 for Scylla as well. Just the 6 misses near the start of the map. Complete reverse choke for him. Yeah. Dominance in a nutshell here for Sweden on that low AR pick. I think with that hidden 2 ban, Nomad 4 being the very, very correct first pick for this roster. And from here, we're probably just going to see another speed pick to come through for Taiwan. There's only one of those maps remaining in the pool, and it is the DT3. And there it is.
Yep, 264 BPM. This is a fairly consistent map in terms of difficulty, but it can be a little bit stamina intensive with some finger control thrown in, but nothing super crazy. The bursts are pretty dense. You don't have to really worry about aim control too much, and as long as you're comfortable with the speed, you should be able to handle the burst without too much difficulty. We should be seeing Riser come in for this one, along with, I'd imagine, Shield and Willie. We may see Shiro in this time around. I do hope we are not seeing Reedcat stay in for the speed pick. Did play it last week and got, I think, maybe this was a hidden, got something like 90k. Well,
I know,
might have been the AR8 hidden.
That was the AR8. That was the
AR8. Okay.
Yeah, we're chill with Reedcat on speed. He can play those. He actually got 1.1 mil on the DT2 last weekend. He'll be fine.
Oh, okay. We're good to go then.
We're good for speed. That said, this is a Taiwan map. They have a pretty solid speed roster in general and kind of DT aim roster as well. Notably, this map is really aim focused in comparison to a lot of the other speed picks in the pool. This is a map that has literally only triples and 5-note bursts until a single 9-note burst happens at the very end of the map, and then it goes back to being only triples and 5-note bursts again. So a lot of how well you can play this map comes down to how well you can handle those bursts alongside a pretty relatively high, consistent aim strain alongside them. So overall comfort on this BPM, I think, is a bit more important than how well you can burst this BPM for a lot of these players. We do see Andros in for Sweden, Yagako, Reedcat, and Grippe joining him for this map. Shirosora, Willie, Riser, and Shield, also known as Slow, in for Taiwan.
Yep, Taiwan sticking with their tried and true speed tapping rosters. They have been running all tournament. I really want to highlight Grippe in this on this map. Is the kind of go-to speed player for Sweden and has looked pretty solid so far. We'll see if Grippe can put up a good score on this one as we get into the DT3, and it does take a little bit to get into it. Andros does find an early miss, but should be able to recover as we get into the map and players adjust to this speed. Map takes a little bit to pick up. Yeah, big drops from Willie and Slow. Find Shane misses on that first jump pattern. There's the aim coming in that you mentioned. Shield finds yet another miss here, and just has recovered nicely, so it's going to be Sweden off to the lead here.
There is the drop for Grippe on the side of Sweden, but it is still a 2-for-1 trade in the favor of Sweden, and now would make that a 3-for-1 as Willie and Shirosora find breaks as well. 3-for-1, a hell of a deal for Sweden on that trade. There go Yagako and Reedcat, though. So now it's 1-for-1 on the full combos. Andros versus Riser. 1-for-0 now on the side of Sweden. You do have a little bit of a recovered combo for Slow on this map compared to Yagako, and Grippe still holding on to some okay combo as well. It is combo advantage for Sweden, but it is by no means a decided map at this point. Very, very close with only 50k between the teams halfway through.
No, we've got a minute and a half to go. Andros has big combo, but there is some recovery. Shield needs to hold on. We see another miss out of Grippe, and that's going to keep Taiwan in this one for now, but you really need the miss out of Andros. Willie is going to trade that miss back, and Reedcat, Gecko are on really big recovery combos now. The door is quickly closing for Taiwan. They are running out of time, but there is still a chance if we see a miss from Andros.
Yeah, if we see Andros drop, maybe we can see the point go over Taiwan's way. They have all recovered their combos, but as you said, Yagako and Reedcat on pretty solid combos themselves, so it's not going to be particularly fast. There goes Yagako, so one of the supporting combos for Sweden gone, and that's actually enough to start bringing the score over the way of Taiwan once again. That said, they've somewhat struggled with the aim component of this map pretty much the entire way through. It's only an 84,000 score lead for Sweden, and it is moving the way of Taiwan. So if all things stay the same, we are going to see Taiwan take this point. But this is still a very volatile map going into the ending here. pretty rapidly going the way of Taiwan, actually. Already down below 60k is the score lead, as Sweden can only do so much. There go Reedcat and Yagiko as well once again. Andros drops as well. It's complete disaster for Sweden at the end of the map, and Taiwan able to take full advantage of it.
Yep, Grip A finds the miss as well. That's the full reset for Sweden, and Shield is going to be able to do enough. It might just be not quite the full combo, but could be reaching a 900,000 here. Not quite with the spinner, but well done. Good recovery from everyone on Taiwan to get a point back, put themselves back in the lead as we get Sweden's next pick.
Yeah, and now Taiwan actually able to take those 2 points. Unfortunately, they're going to have to move into something else for their next pick. There is no speed left in the pool, but Sweden will have kind of pick of the litter here with some of these other maps around in the rest of the pool. Again, I think picking into alt tech stuff is relatively good for Sweden with no reading left in the pool due to the hidden 2 ban. You really do kind of look towards stuff like the Nomad 2, the Nomad 3, maybe stuff like the Free Mod 1 or Hard Rock 1 if you're relatively comfortable on the Hard Rock. Especially Sweden as a team with Reedcat on it this year, I think should be relatively comfortable picking into something like that Hard Rock 1 in Coffins.
Yes, Taiwan has really struggled with the Hard Rocks now, especially the Precision. Sweden is not necessarily a Precision team, but it's still going to be a solid pick for them just because Taiwan has not shown that they can play the pick so far, and we are going to be getting Crab Game 4. That's not quite a pick.
That's not a pick. Not really sure what we're talking about here. Yeah, thank you, Nick. That is not a choice.
Bring some sanity back.
There's not even a mod pool that has 4 maps in it besides Nomad, where we've already picked the Nomad 4. Like, there's just no way that's actually a pick. All right, there we go. We're gonna go Nomad 2. This is the tech pick in Nomad. It's the tech stream map. Players who are really good at tech are going to call this a cut stream simulator, and players who are really good at streams are going to call this the slider simulator. And it kind of walks the line on that in-between zone between those two types of skill sets. The stamina is not particularly high on this pick. It's only 180 BPM, but the flow aim is very, very difficult on the map overall. And there are some relatively tricky tech patterns with some sorts of stop and go patterns right on top of either buzz sliders or other sliders that you need to be able to have finger control for and then be able to follow the sliders afterwards.
Yep, and this is the kind of pick that Sweden has been putting up top team scores on. It looks like we're going to be seeing Phelan in for this one. I imagine we see Tony as well, along with Reedcat. Although I could definitely see Andros in for this one as well, just because it is a little bit streamier. Zedpin and Gastrophism both making their first appearances in this match.
Notably, Skill saying we have to win this fast, saying the same country mapper buff. Yeah, Saika OK1 actually from Sweden, not playing this year for the team, but gonna pick the Swedish map for the Swedish team here. This is also the team in Sweden who got the #1 team score on Nomad 4 last weekend. Very comparable sort of map to what you see in the Nomad 2 slot this week. So I think even counting the fact that Taiwan does not have a particularly strong tech roster, they had some unfortunately lackluster scores on the Nomad 4 in qualifiers compared to Sweden as well. Sweden has the ability to pop off on maps like this and even beat out the top teams in the tournament on tech on a good weekend.
Good luck, have fun in the chat. Here we go into this tech pick, and this is just, great foresight from the Swedish mapper. Mapping this specifically so that Sweden could pop off on it in this match.
Who could have known years ago when he submitted the map that it would get picked for OWC and Sweden would pick it?
He knew all along. It was all part of the plan, I'm telling you. Willie, I do want to highlight, has looked great for Taiwan, has been the second best performer for them after Shield, who is right below in this lobby. So I think those are going to be the two key players if Taiwan is going to find a breakpoint here. And this map does take a little bit to pick up, but when it does, we're going to see some accuracy drops. We're going to see some early combo breaks. This first KI section is pretty tricky as we start to see the cut streams, but everybody holding very well early on. Accuracies staying high for now, and this one could go either way, and that means the first miss is going to be quite an impactful one.
Yeah, this intro section being relatively easy compared to the rest of the map means that if you miss during it, it's a pretty big deal. And there goes Willie right before the free combo section. The only player on either team to miss so far, as everyone's still holding their nerve during the build-up of this map.
Yep, here we go though, about to get into one of the trickier sections after this triple pattern. This is where we're going to start to see more players swap off. This is where we're going to start to see some big misses, and it's Shield who finds the first big miss. Those two key players for Taiwan have fallen. It is Spines Knight and Astrophism still holding on. Zedpin does trade it back, but now it's 3 FTCs to 2, and Sweden are once again off to an early lead. This is not a super long map. We're already halfway through, so Taiwan is going to need some breaks, and if Sweden can make it through this KI section, they're going to be in a really good spot here.
And this is the three-way full combo still intact for Sweden halfway through the map. You do have the two-way intact for Taiwan on the side of Diastrophism and Spines Knight, but matching combo for Spinks and Slow on the side of Sweden and Taiwan respectively means just a pretty big combo lead for Sweden, all things considered. It's only a 150k score lead though, so if we see misses from the side of Sweden, this could still go over very, very quickly to the side of Taiwan. And there's Reedcat missing on the slow part for Sweden. Disaster for the team ahead right now, as now you've got two matching full combos on either side. Spinks matching slow, and Willie with an uncontested 800 combo on the side of Taiwan. If they can hold their combos during this last section, it's going to be a little bit close coming into the end of the map, but they might just be able to take the breakpoint against Sweden, who I think a lot of people were counting as the de facto victor in this match. Here comes all of the ending patterns. Neither of these teams willing to budge an inch as everyone continues to hit everything in this ending. Both of these teams popping off, but there goes Spines Knight, and that's one of the full combos gone for Taiwan. And there goes Diastrophism as well. Phelan will trade, but it's Skilla to hold on to the FC for Sweden to combat the big combo from Willie. He falls as well. It's Spinks and Slow matching once again, and Skilla, the carry player for Sweden this year, one of the best tournament players in Sweden overall, and their top performer and captain throughout the qualifiers to bring them the victory on this Nomad 2.
Wow, incredible stuff. Sweden managed to hold on there, and like you said, Skilla, 28th individual tournament-wide last week, has been the carry for this Swedish team, along with Recap, but Skilla is very quickly becoming one of the best tournament players and really able to compete with the best of the best, especially in this tournament so far. Taiwan does have the next pick, though. Like you mentioned, not as much tapping left in the pool. They're going to have to switch it up. That Fremont 3 already gone, the DT options gone as well. What kind of pick do they maneuver to here?
Yeah, unfortunately, there's really not a lot of tapping left in the pool, so you have to try something else if you are Taiwan. Just looking at the stats from qualifiers, the other places where Taiwan has, maybe a chance to take something against Sweden, and maybe there's a little bit of discomfort for Sweden, would be on some of the Hard Rock consistency, but with it being a tech map this week in the Hard Rock 1, I don't think you really have that option anymore. And with the way that the low AR reading maps have gone, I don't know that you want to pick into this hidden one as well. I'm thinking maybe you just send it on something that's quote-unquote RNG and pick either the Nomad 1 or Fremod 2 here if you are Taiwan, unless your team feels really comfortable on something like the Fremod 1 or the Nomad 3. I think that you just try and send it on something that maybe Sweden feels a little bit uncomfortable on. They were number 9 on Nomad 1 last weekend. They were not too far ahead of you in the qualifiers on the Nomad 1 there as well. There's only a 150k difference between the middle scores for both of those teams in the qualifiers. So maybe you just send it on something aim consistency focused.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. DT1 might... I mean, it is aim consistency. It's also AR 10.3 and higher BPM, but it is aim consistency. Just from the qualifier scores, Sweden has a big on-paper advantage for this one. They were number 5 on the DT1 and qualifiers with a 4-way full combo. So I don't know if I like the pick, but at the same time, if you're Taiwan and you're comfortable on this map and you know that you can put up good scores, then I don't think that there's a lot of better on-paper options in this pool, and I think a lot of the remaining picks for Taiwan are going to come down to that comfort factor.
Yeah, it's unfortunately not a great stylistic matchup for Taiwan. You know, you look at their match last week, and they did try to go for a lot of those aim and hidden picks, but against a team like Sweden, their strength is also this aim consistency. They've looked great, like you mentioned again, the DT1s and OMOD 1s, not so much the hidden ones. But this DT1 is picking right into Sweden's skill set, but if that's your most comfortable map, that's what you have to go for, and that's what it's going to be for Taiwan. We've got Riser in the lobby along with Seal, Shield, and Hero Sora. I would have to guess it's going to be Willie in for that last player. Could be Tomo as well, though. Has played some of these DT picks. It's just Willie. Much more expected. And of course, this is Sweden's lineup. Andros, Reedcat, 2 incredible aim players. Grippe, Trident 2 in for the DT, and Jakeko. Here we go. Kickstart my heart.
A little surprised to not see Skilla in for the side of Sweden. He did top score DT1 for them in qualifiers. And the DT1 from qualifiers is extremely similar to the DT1 this weekend. There's a grand total of 2 triples in this map, and aside from that, it's all single taps. So very, very similar to the DT1 in qualifiers, which had literally 0 triples, and is otherwise just AR 10.3 aim consistency on about 270 BPM. This one 268, the qualifiers one 275. So very similar BPM, very similar map style here. Very different song this time around. We got some very old classic rock Motley Crue for the DT1 this weekend. I'm going to be starting off with everybody still holding. No early breaks for either of these teams as we get started. Oh my god, Reedcat on the slow slider. That's a little unfortunate for Sweden. I don't think it'll matter too much, but it is about a 100 combo lead for Taiwan.
Always claims at least one. I think there is another slow slider in this map. We'll see if Reedcat can figure it out for the second time around, but like you said, we shouldn't see too many early misses. This is a very consistent map, and so it's really going to come down to these difficulty spikes later into the map that are coming up pretty shortly. There are some tricky slider patterns, but there's not really any burst. Riser finds a big miss now. Grippe trades it though, so that's going to even things out, and it's just going to be this small advantage for Taiwan off the back of Reedcat's miss. Grippe finds 2 misses yet again, traded back by Riser, so neither of them any recovery combo, and third of the way into the map, it's just 3 combos to 3 Taiwan with a 100 combo lead.
Accuracy lead for Taiwan as well, 99.8 on both Willie and Slow right now. Only Yagiko matching that accuracy for Sweden. And yeah, Andros can only match Shiro Sora there, so you've got an okay accuracy lead right now going for Taiwan. Helping a lot with this score lead, Yagiko missing is going to help even more here, and you know, on paper, this doesn't look like the best pick for Taiwan, but comfort matters so much, and if Sweden is not comfortable on the map, and Taiwan is, if you're confident in the pick and comfortable on the map, then it's not really going to matter what the paper says, as Taiwan pulling way ahead in this map, 230k up halfway through, with only 1 full combo remaining for Sweden right now. Andros, I think, questioning his team a little bit there in smoke during the break, saying, guys, what are we doing? Oh, Shiro Sora and Slow, what are you doing? Both of them miss on the slow slider right after the break. It's tied up in full combos now, iFlame. It's only Willie and Andros with combo in this match.
You can't miss there. Now it's just Willie taking on Andros, and it's Reedcat with the big supporting combo. There goes Riser as well. It's Willie against the world now. This one's going to go back over so quickly. There's a quarter of the map to go. And if we don't see a drop from... There goes Andros, though. That's going to slow down the bleeding, but Sweden does still have the lead. Grippe and Reedcat trying to take on Willie, and if Willie misses, it's going to go back over in an instant, but if not, it's going to be close.
Yeah, I don't know if there's actually enough time at this point. The lead is going over so slowly towards Sweden, and there's the miss for Reedcat and Grippe as well. It's over. Taiwan able to take it off the back of Willie, not finding any breaks, holding on to the FC into the ending here. It looked pretty dicey when Shiro Sora and Slow both missed on that slow slider right before the second half of the map started, but Willie to clutch it out for the team, keep their 300k score lead intact, and pull off over 1.2 million score on this map.
Taiwan certainly proven us wrong. This was a great pick for them, worked out very nicely, and they're going to hold on to their lead. Of course, Sweden does have the next pick, but this might give Sweden a little bit of pause towards something like the Nomad 1 that previously they might have felt really comfortable on. Now losing that DT aim pick is going to make them a little bit hesitant. Of course, 3.5 million, really, really good team score for Taiwan. They do still have the Hard Rocks. I wonder if we are going to see that Hard Rock 1, Coffins, even World's End Valentine. Really, either of the Hard Rocks are good for Sweden right now.
Yeah, I think with Jerry Beans going the way that it did in that Nomad 2, Sweden very incentivized to pick into something like Coffins. If not that, I would say just go in on the Nomad 3 or the Fremod 1. Pick something a little bit more gimmicky, as you really have had success on those types of picks throughout this match. Look at the picks for Taiwan versus the picks for Sweden so far. DT1, DT3, Fremod 3 for Taiwan. All fast maps, all mechanics based. The picks for Sweden, Nomad 2, Nomad 4, all relatively slow maps, very gimmick based. Either tech or reading so far for Sweden have been the picks, have been the points for them. So you really want to lean into what has been working so far in this match, because if you give up a break point here, you give up match point next pick to Taiwan. So very crucial that this pick works out for Sweden. And Taiwan, honestly, showing up in loser's bracket round 1 here. I think a lot of people this year, after the initial placement for Taiwan, after the initial loss in round of 32, where they looked really shaky as a team overall, have been discounting this roster, myself included, for this loser's bracket round 1 match. But Taiwan showing up in a way that is far more reminiscent of past years' rosters than this one.
Cycle the pick, very good call there. Sweden is going to be going towards that ult, and this is just a fairly standard ult map. You know, it's got some more snappy ults, some more aim control ults, a few tricky wiggle patterns, but you can cheese them if you are very precise. As we saw in the showcase, you don't actually have to move your cursor at all, but you have to be a little careful with it. If your cursor is just a little bit off, you're going to miss very quickly, but that's the halfway point of the map. So if we see those wiggles claim any combos, they're going to be big ones. It looks like Dastrophism is in for this one. Recats, Skylight Silkilla. Definitely going to be seeing Shield back in for this one, along with Willie, most likely. And I wonder if we're going to be seeing Spine here instead of Dastrophism. Hasn't really played the ult. Usually it has been Willie, Spine, Shield, and Riser on the side of Taiwan. So I wonder if we'll just see them put those 4 in.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be pretty similar to that. I mean, you look at the Nomad 3 rosters from qualifiers for this team, and it's just Spines, Night, Willie, Slow, and Riser. I don't know that they're going to play any of the other players on this roster for something like this. That said, this map's a little different from the Nomad 3 in qualifiers. Far higher BPM. 160 BPM at ult is not something you usually see in a round of 16. It's usually a far later round that you see ult this high of a BPM. So it ends up being a lot more flow aim focused when you have really high spacing. And the snap aim patterns tend to be a lot lower spacing on something like this. It is going to be the fabled roster for Taiwan from the qualifiers on that Nomad 3. It is also the same fabled roster for Sweden from the qualifiers on Nomad 3. So if the qualifiers are believed to be accurate for both of these teams, we should see Sweden come out on top based on their scores there. But there's definitely potential for Taiwan to upset on this pick. It is by no means a guaranteed point for Sweden. We're going to have to see them still perform well on this sort of map. Looking specifically at Reedcat and Skilla to do well. Those were their top 2 performers on this map both times in the qualifiers, or on the similar map in qualifiers both times. It's a good start for Sweden, as Willie finding an early break, Spines Knight finding an early break, and everyone on Sweden holding on.
Yep, and you know, if the qualifiers are to be believed, Sweden should have won the last map, so don't necessarily mean a lot,
Exactly.
but they are looking good for now. Even Riser did find an early miss, and the accuracy is a bit of concern for Taiwan at the moment. 2 players below 95. We're not going to talk about Shield, who is kind of saving their accuracy right now, as Spines Knight finds yet another miss, and Recap finds the first miss for Sweden. Here we go, into the first Ki. Phelan trades it back, finds a really big drop, lots of accuracy, lots of misses. Zedpin now finds the miss. Now it's Skilla versus Shield, and Riser has recovered so nicely, only 10 combo behind the FC, so this score lead is going to go very quickly back over to Taiwan, and they've held on through the most difficult part of the Ki, so this is a little bit easier combo for Taiwan to pick up and push their score lead. And oh, there goes Riser on the slow section, Spines Knight as well, and Phelan actually, all missing on a fairly easy section.
Yeah, really rough shakes now for Sweden as they only have Skilla to rely on. Slow matching the combo on the other side, and Willie completely uncontested with a big reverse choke combo of his own. Slow misses on that section though, and now it's Skilla versus Willie on the big combos for both of these teams. And Willie misses, Riser misses as well. It's only Spines Knight for Taiwan. It's only halfway through, but that is a huge team drop for Taiwan, and Sweden poised to take advantage of it with this big combo from Skilla still intact. Spinks as well, holding on to 550 combo or so. Far better than what Spines Knight has at the moment. Reedcat not too far behind, so that miss from Phelan, not disastrous for Sweden right now. None of their big combos dropping in this map. Into this heavy difficulty flow aim section. Nobody dropping except for Phelan and Willie during this part so far, as everyone holds through the wiggle besides Reedcat and Spines Knight. The one big combo left for Taiwan is gone, and that is a 330k lead, completely uncontested. Even with that miss from Skilla, it does not matter whatsoever. Even with all the combo gone on the side of Sweden, it just does not matter. No one on Taiwan has any sort of combo to combat the score lead of over 400k for Sweden on this Nomad 3.
No, the ending of this Nomad 3 is so brutal. It's not where you're going to find the big combos to make a comeback. And so Sweden, it looked a little sketchy for a bit, but they held on to their big combos on Skilla and Zedpin, and they're going to tie things up. Teams have been trading their picks back and forth, no break points yet. And so Taiwan now have a chance. And they have some picks left over. The picks are not clear, but like you mentioned, you look at what they've gone for so far. It has been that speed. It has been the aim with the DT1, and what is fortunate for them is that this Hidden One is very dense, very fast aim, and I think that's probably going to be their pick.
And one thing about picking into this Hidden One as opposed to, for example, the Nomad 1 or the Fremod 2, is that Reedcat is a core player for Sweden, and this band does not like to play hidden. So even in spite of that, they have him on for hiddens in the qualifiers. They had him on for Hidden 1 last weekend in round of 32. Where he unfortunately dropped the 90k. So if you're Taiwan and you are comfortable enough on the hidden to beat out the scores from, for example, Skilla and Phelan, right? If you can match those types of scores, you potentially have the ability to win pretty handily on the Hidden One there by gapping Reedcat with the mod choice. If you're not going for the Hidden One, I don't think you go for the Hard Rock one. You lost out on the Nomad 2 here, so I don't think going for something like Coffins is probably advised at this point. And remaining mechanic maps in this pool are the Nomad 1, a little bit stream heavy, a little bit flow aimy, a little bit lower BPM, something that Sweden might enjoy on that sort of map. You look at the picks so far for Sweden, they've been 180 BPM, 160 BPM for the last map, and I think the Nomad 4 is something like 180 BPM as well, obviously lower approach rate. Versus Fremod 2 is at least 200 BPM, so it's a little bit faster. You have more of that awkward aim, sure, but it is a bit of a higher star rating mechanics test on the Hard Rock and a relatively faster map considering what is left in the rest of the pool at this point.
Yeah, Taiwan are going to be using their timeout. Each team does get 1 2-minute timeout per match, and what I personally like about this Hidden is that because the jumps are so dense, if you're not comfortable on the Hidden, looking at a player like Reedcat, it makes it so much harder to follow those jumps consistently if you're not practiced on them. Now, that being said, Reedcat probably knows he has to fill for the Hiddens, probably is taking the time to practice the Hidden One, knowing that it's a potential pick for Taiwan. And so the Fremod 2 is just kind of their other option. It's going to be one of those two. The question is which one. Seems like they're going to be taking 2 minutes to decide, and Fremod 2, Thought Crime is the pick, and so this is going to be the fast aim Fremod.
All right,
awkward.
let's see it for Taiwan. This is the first time they have had to pick anything below 240 BPM. All of their wins so far have been on maps 240 BPM or higher. Can they convert on something outside the DT pool that is not a speed map is the question here, as Taiwan has decidedly been stuck on those higher BPM picks all match long. I think this pick is pretty good for them as a team, especially if you're not comfortable as a 4-man squad with that hidden mod. As you said, the hidden mod on a 240 BPM awkward aim, like AR 9.2 map in the hidden pool, that makes it really hard. So if you're not comfortable as a 4-man squad with that, just gapping one player from the other team on hidden is not going to be enough to make up for it.
Yep. This map is not easy either, but you don't have to go hidden on it, right? If your players are not comfortable, you can throw them on the no mod and give them a bit of an easier time. I don't think we should see any over mods. This is probably, I would say, by quite a bit, the hardest free mod pick. Very long, and especially into the ending, there are some brutal patterns. It is really, really spiky, so there are kind of some fairly easy sections, followed by some very, very big difficulty spikes into the Ki sections, and so these difficulty spikes are going to be so important for both teams. If even one or two players can hold on through a big difficulty spike, they're going to have a little bit of free combo afterwards to really push that score advantage. So it's going to come down to the spikes, it's going to come down to who can build off these big combos, and it's going to come down to who gets the early lead. The ending has some really brutal patterns, so it's very unlikely we're going to be seeing any big comeback combos into the ending of this map.
If we do see them, it'd be pretty hype, though. I'm not.
It
gonna
would.
lie.
It would be.
It would be pretty hype if we saw the big combos in the end of this map. That ending is hard, man. It's really, really difficult. All right, we see Diastrophism, Slow, Willy, and Spines Knight in once again for Taiwan here. I think this is a pretty solid roster for them. Very, very similar to what we saw in the DT1 for that aim map. I don't know who they're going to have go hidden on this pick. Maybe Spines Knight, who had pretty good score last week on the hidden and was pretty comfortable on the hidden one in qualifiers both times that they played it. But no, it's going to be Diastrophism instead, who actually I don't know exactly. I think it just comes down to comfort at this point for them, because Diastrophism didn't have too good of scores on the hiddens in previous weekends, but if you're comfortable, you're comfortable. And we've already seen this team defy what the script says from previous weekends, right? This is a performance that is already above what the expectation is for this team based on previous scores from the qualifiers from round of 32. So if they're comfortable on it, then by God, take the hidden and pop off. It's going to be the hidden for Skilla on the side of Sweden. Hard Rock for Reedcat, no surprise there. Hard Rock for Willy on the side of Taiwan, also no surprise whatsoever.
Yeah, due to the difficulty of this map, I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of, even if you're not necessarily the most comfortable, you'd much rather have Shield try and put up a really good score on the no mod. If it's the difference between, 700 and 500k, you take the slightly worse hidden score and just get Shield the highest combo possible, see if you can put up a big score, because the Hard Rock 4 Willy, who has been their other very strong performer, is going to be really tricky. Here we go into the first Ki. This is where we should start to see some drops. The Ki's do get harder as they go on, and it's going to be Diastrophism on that hidden with the first miss. Willy as well, so both the modded combos gone for Taiwan. Nobody dropping on the stream. Zedpin does find a miss now, so one traded back, but it looks like Phalon does find a miss. So it's the two no mods gone for Sweden and the two modded combos gone for Taiwan. So slight advantage to Sweden, as those modded combos are worth a little bit more.
Yeah, for now. For now, slight advantage to Sweden, as you do get a little bit more score from the mods. Another couple of misses to come through for Diastrophism as well. So you do have a little bit of more combo on the supporting scores for Sweden as well. Notably, this is a very different sort of strategy on the mods for both of these teams. You could definitely argue Reedcat and Skilla, the two top performers for Sweden so far, versus Slow and Spines Knight, who have been rock solid for Taiwan throughout this match. And Reedcat, Skilla taking the mods, Slow and Spines Knight taking no mod for the side of Taiwan. I think just a difference in strategy for who you want to take the mods, whether it be your top performers to kind of guarantee good scores on everyone, or your top performers on the no mod. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter for Taiwan. Spine's Knight missing there in the second KI time, right in the middle of the map. Diasprism missing on the stream as well, and that is 2 combos gone for Taiwan. One of the FCs dropping as well. It's only Slow with the FC and Willie with supporting combo versus the 2-way FC on Reedcat and Skilla, and the 2-way support for Binks and Phalon. Sweden in prime position to take a break point right now.
Yeah, that's an insane accuracy for Willie on the Hard Rock too. I think that's a 1 miss, 1x100, which is just an awful feeling. But that is how it goes sometimes. And so now we're going to be relying on a miss from Reedcat or Skilla, who have been so consistent on this hidden, on this Hard Rock. Those scores are going to be worth so much. But one of these really brutal patterns is coming up into the last KI, and I don't know if we're going to see anyone hold that, especially on the mods. I think if anyone manages to hit that pattern, it's probably Shield on the no mod. We'll have to see.
Yeah, this ending is going to be really, really difficult. And, you know, iFlame, at some point or another, you have to call a pick for one team or the other. It is a 300k score difference right now for Sweden. There's only about 300k or so left that Slow can accumulate even with this FC. There goes Spinks, but there goes Slow as well. Reedcat's going to trade it. Phalon's going to trade it. Diastrophism, Spine's Knight, and Willie all miss, actually, right as I'm about to call out they're holding the combo. It's only Skilla left in this lobby with any sort of combo, and he's still on the FC. He hits the ending. He combos through the hardest part of the map, and far more than secures the pick for Sweden. It was already said and done when we saw the miss for Slow come through. Skilla adding insult to injury, pulling out the full combo. 99.6 accuracy on this play. Absolutely dominant from Sweden with over 500k score difference. And that BPM, man, 200 BPM, the first Taiwan pick under 240. Completely going the other way for Team Sweden right now with that hidden FC from Skilla. 800k on the Hard Rock for Reedcat as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's so impressive from Skilla. I generally did not expect to see any full combos on that map, let alone on the hidden. And now Sweden are on match point. It is their pick. They have a chance to close this one out, make it a 5-3, not risk going to tiebreaker, because if we do see a tiebreaker here, it could go either way, right? We see Taiwan be solid on the DT1, some of the aim. This is a very, very aim-heavy tiebreaker. And so we'll see what they go for. I do still think the Hard Rock are going to be good options for them. Potentially, they could look towards the Nomad 1, but I think that's a bit risky and could go either way.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at the hidden 1 Hard Rock 1 for Sweden right now. I mean, they did win that last pick pretty handily, but it was off the back of really good combos from both Reedcat and Skilla. So maybe it actually is the Nomad 1, because Nomad 1 is relatively awkward aim. It's a lot of aim control in that map, very similar to the Fremod 2. And I think a lot of the roster for Sweden prefers different mods to each other, right? Skilla's a very good hidden player, Reedcat's a very good Hard Rock player, and well, you can't take both of those on the hidden 1 or the Hard Rock 1, right? You have to go with a mod that you're uncomfortable on for one of your best players if you go that route. So maybe it is just the Nomad 1 here. Maybe they do just run with something relatively similar. And it's actually going to be neither of those 3 picks. It's going to be the Hard Rock 2 instead, which, you know, again, if you're looking at the qualifiers, is something that Sweden has an on-paper advantage on. Both of Sweden's scores from the qualifiers better than both of Taiwan's scores from the qualifiers on Hard Rock 2. And to add on to that, Sweden with the number 4 score on Hard Rock 2 last weekend, out of 8 plays overall, between teams like Russia and Chile on the Hard Rock 2 last weekend. So I think a relatively good team score for Sweden with 2 full combos and 3.2 million team score last weekend on that Hard Rock 2. This one, notably, far more mechanics focused. This is all about the flow aim, all about the awkward aim at CS 6.5 in this map. So I think a little bit less gimmicky than maybe Sweden would have wanted for this slot to be, but with a player like Reedcat on the roster who, when he was in his prime, when he was an active tournament player, was one of the best Hard Rock precision players in the tournament scene, full stop. I think you can place some faith into this roster to do pretty well on a pick like this.
Yeah, and Taiwan did end up with the 40th overall Hard Rock 2 score. Now, Sweden wasn't a whole lot better, but when you actually look at the scores across 2 runs, Taiwan were 71 and 76 across about 100 scores, so it's a tough one for them. We do have the Sweden lineup in, still waiting on the rest of the players for Taiwan. We're going to be seeing Shield in for this one without a doubt, Willie as well. And I have to guess it's Shio for the last player.
Yep, gonna be Shield. Gonna be Slow coming in as the last player for this roster. Once again, just the same roster from qualifiers for Taiwan. Slightly different roster for Sweden. You've got Spinks coming in for Tony Reno, who played the Hard Rock Precision pick in qualifiers. And Spinks actually playing the Hard Rock Precision pick last week as well for Tony Reno instead. So same roster as last week's Hard Rock 2 for Sweden. Reedcat and Skilla are the 2 to look out for. Those are the 2 who full comboed last weekend in round of 32. Those are the 2 who top scored on their best run in qualifiers. These are the 2 carry players for the team consistently at the top of the leaderboard. We already saw Skilla be that X factor on the last map. Reedcat not too far behind with the 800k on Hard Rock on Fremont 2. So I think this is a pretty good roster for this Sweden team. Can they close it out here 5-3, or will we see the back-to-back breakpoints to bring us to a tiebreaker in this loser's bracket match? Already a couple of breaks for both Skilla and Andros. This intro pulls no punches. It is one of the hardest parts of the map. The first 400 combo or so, the first half of this map is all incredibly difficult. Multiple misses coming through for both sides as Slow and Spines Knight match the misses from Andros and Skilla. A little bit of a better combo overall for Sweden, but it is 2-2 in full combos with just about matching supporting scores. There goes Slow and Spinks. There's one of the full combos gone for Sweden now. Riser is going to trade it back. Skilla's going to break once again to match the breaks from Slow. And now it's just Reedcat and Willie holding onto the combo at the moment. Further breaks from Andros and Spinks give a little bit of combo lead over to Taiwan, but it's quickly given back over as Willie drops the last remaining full combo for Taiwan. Reedcat, again, the X factor for this team on Hard Rock. One of the best Hard Rock Precision players going back to 2022-2021 in the tournament scene, full stop, pulling out his skills once again here in the US World Cup for Sweden to stay alive in the tournament.
Yeah, we do see 2 misses from Sweden, but the supporting combo is not there for Taiwan. Relying on a miss from Reedcat is not where you want to be at this point. It is terrifying. Andros finds yet another miss. There goes Skilla, so it is just Reedcat versus the world. Taiwan is starting to build some recovery combo, but Spines Knight finds another miss, and it's just not nearly enough unless we see the miss from Reedcat. They are very quickly running out of time. 100,000 points, and I think Reedcat would probably have to find a miss on this low section. The next, okay, there goes Willie, and that is going to be it. Sweden will be taking this one 5-3. There goes Reedcat, but it is too late. Taiwan does not have the combo to make the comeback. Very well played to Sweden.
Yeah, chain miss disaster aside for Sweden. That is it. That is game, set, and match. 5-3 at the end of the day for Sweden off the back of a huge performance for Reedcat to secure that last point. 2 players above 400k for Taiwan, aside from Willie, who got that 580k pop-off score. And a better score for Spines Knight as well over Andros. You compare the head-to-head scores on all 3 supporting players in this map, and it looks really good for Taiwan. They beat them out 3-3, but Reedcat ahead of Willie by almost 300,000 score is the complete deciding factor, and he pops off when his team needs him the most, winning them that match and avoiding that tiebreaker.
Yep. And so Taiwan have been eliminated from the tournament. This is their worst placement so far, but huge congratulations to Sweden once again. They're going to be playing Hong Kong in the next round. Meanwhile, we have got on the other channel Kazakhstan versus Japan, a scoreline that I don't think anybody would have predicted. 2-2. So we are going to join them now.
Congratulations to Sweden. They will advance into the next round of the losers bracket, knocking out Taiwan in what is now Taiwan's worst post-World Cup performance in history so far. getting knocked out in the round of 16 losers bracket round 1. So commiserations to Taiwan, better luck next year, and good luck to Sweden up against Hong Kong in the losers bracket, a very difficult match awaiting them next weekend in the quarterfinals. Thank you to iFlame for casting alongside me. Thank you to our operator and referee behind the scenes. And thank you all for watching this very, very good match between Sweden and Taiwan. We're going to send you all over to Japan versus Kazakhstan on Osu Live to join that, as you said, iFlame 2-2 matchup in the losers bracket.